All right. Happy New Year. It's January 1st, 2013. Welcome to another Nerd Stalker podcast. It's the best of 2012 show. And I am Greg Viloria, a.k.a. SocialGreg on Twitter, and I'm with Adolfo and
Howdy.
And we also have joining us from lovely Vancouver Island in the west side of Canada. We got Sean Charles.
Hey guys, Happy New Year. Good to be here.
Cool. And we have another Nerd Stalker person, or I guess staff writer we want to call her. She's here in San Francisco, not with me, but in Nob Hill. We got Emma Lamb.
Hi. Happy 2013.
Emma's a little shy, so we have to give her some room.
There we go.
Okay.
A little bit of a delay there.
Wait, okay, all right. So anyway, let's get started with this show, man. It's going to be fun to do this wrap-up. Yes, we
gotcha.
hear you loud and clear. So, okay, let's kick this off here. We got Adolfo's picks here. Let's talk about Evernote, Adolfo. What do we got there?
Yeah, man. So Evernote is my pick of the year, the big one. Now, I don't know if everyone would pick, but several years ago, I did an interview with the CEO of Evernote, Phil Libin, and he told me he described Evernote as being an extension of your brain, right? And to me, it basically sounded like some startup BS, right? And I didn't. What I came away from the whole thing is I just didn't get it right at the time because it sounded like an overglorified sort of FTP kind of thing. What I realize is that now, in how it's grown and become so popular, is that they're everywhere. They integrate with everything, right? So they were so smart about their, not only their UI and the design from the get-go, which a lot of startups, when they were starting, didn't quite get, but also to make their API super accessible to developers. So that's why when you use various apps and desktop applications, when you click a share or something like that, or put to cloud or something, there's typically an Evernote option there, right? Because of that. So it was a lot of this early thinking that got them sort of ubiquitous everywhere, right? Where this comes across for me on a daily basis, where really transition for me is scanning. So I try to go as paperless as possible, right? Scan, Snap, Fujitsu, I love you. I scan everything I can, right? Nice. And it used to be where I would scan something and it would be local on my computer, right?
I see.
But now I'm doing that less and less. Now I'm selecting the option of just create PDF, go right to Evernote, right? So it's there. And the beauty of that is that out of the box you get OCR, right, for free. And this is all free, pretty much, unless you start using some serious data per year. So you get automatic OCR, you get fantastic search and tagging capabilities on the cloud, and a local option as well. And also, they've done recent updates and UI improvements as we speak, and they're multi-platform too. They're platform agnostic. So you have Android, you have iOS, you have, Microsoft, and they're everywhere. And not only that, they have other applications like Evernote Food, Evernote Hello, Evernote Trunk. They have a Moleskine tie-in with Moleskine, Sketch, Evernote for Business now, which is huge, right? Web Clipper, Clearly, which I use on a day-to-day basis so I can do easy reading of web pages and stuff. Penultimate, nice. Peak, which is a little iPad application. So, yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have any experience with Evernote or anything?
Oh, yeah. I love Evernote. I don't know. Evernote, I think it's enabling tablets to be used in schools. I see all the kids at school with tablets, at least in college, and they'll just use Evernote to just download some stuff. So it's really kind of cool that way. I don't know, Sean, any experience with Evernote on your end?
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan. I started using it just this year too, and I saw an interview with Phil as well. Mm-hmm. He really impressed me. They were talking about corporate culture and all those fun things, and talking about how they use the product internally, and that's part of how they develop it and the culture behind it. And I was actually really impressed by what I heard from him. So yeah, I'm a big fan, and hope to use it even more in the new year.
Yeah,
got it. What
was that post you guys did about their culture? What do they like? Clean your house or do your laundry or something like that? I read some post. I think Sean posted or Greg. I can't remember who.
Oh no, I think I
Which one was it?
I had one like that where they actually they're paying for someone. I think we talked about it in one of the shows actually this year in 2012.
Yeah.
That actually Evernote gives you a stipend to have someone come and clean your house.
That's
as
right.
an employee
That's right.
of Evernote.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of cool corporate culture, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that was
it's just
neat.
really. I mean, they're just one of these companies that are really on top of it. You know what I mean? They iterate super fast, and they're like that little example right there. Internally, they just get it right. So I think this is a very important company to watch, and not they're not getting a ton of press, but it's definitely they're a player for sure.
Hey, Emma in Nob Hill, do you use Evernote?
Yeah, I used to use Evernote, but then I started. A lot of our managers like Evernote, and they worship Evernote. But I stopped using it after they acquired Sketch.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. It's another topic. But where are they keeping all this data? I get a little paranoid.
Yeah,
I
they
have
had some issues
that
right?
I have some friends that are lawyers that they feel the same way, right? So they're using more of a local sort of Dropbox solution and encrypting their stuff before they send it to Evernote, or just keeping it local instead. Definitely some of the stuff, you probably don't want to put like your social security number in there or anything like that. But for things like receipts and stuff like that, I think it's a good option. But there's so many like options to it. Also, it can almost be overly complicated, that whole paradox of choice thing. And there was a big argument with the Sketch application or acquisition, where a lot of like hardcore Sketch users were upset because it seems like they sort of initially ruined the experience. I think they just released an update for it where they try to address a lot of the outrage, for that particular application, which was and is a great application. So I have to agree with you there.
Okay. Anything else? We'll move on. All right.
Let's do it.
Cool. Let's go into the next Best of Adolfo 2012 list. We got what's a list without XBMC? Let's talk
Super
about
nerd.
XBMC.
Yeah.
Nerd.
So when you think of like media centers, right? You think Apple TV, and let's face it, they're pretty much the only player in town. I mean, how many people do you know that have like a Google, TV type of, on a widespread consumer adoption basis? Not really, right?
Yeah.
So XBMC is the flip side, right? The other side of the coin to an Apple TV, where you have like Apple TV, super easy of use, limited options, whatever. XBMC is total customization, open source, all kinds of stuff. So it used to be hardcore in the realm of uber nerd kind of stuff, but as of late, they're trying to address this, this steep adoption curve. They redesigned the XBMC Hub site. It's xbmchub.com, by the way, if you guys want to check it out. This is all free, right? And it's they've released an instant configuration. They're calling it instant configuration to install XBMC. It used to be really difficult to configure XBMC. And it runs on multi, hardware and platform on everything, right? So we're talking Apple TV, we're talking Mac, Android, Raspberry Pi, Windows, iOS, Linux, Xbox, and it comes in a ton of languages. And this is a full-blown media center, like music, movies, TVs, photos, programs, apps, add-ons, all kinds of stuff. So it's sort of under the radar, I think, but oddly enough, there's widespread adoption among the nerdists out there.
Cool. Now they've integrated Connect technology also with this, right? Or not?
With what technology?
Connect.
Oh, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, man. I mean, that's the beauty of this whole thing, right? Is developers can create add-ons to it, and there's all kinds of add-ons being, thrown at it. I know Twit has one, and I know Joe Rogan has one, and all kinds of, everyone's making an app for this thing.
That would be crazy. I mean, if they had Connect, take gaming to another level using XBMC.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, fun, man.
Wow. Okay. I don't know, Sean. Do you have any experience with XBMC?
No, but I like what I'm hearing about it. I'll definitely be watching out for it in 2012.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a weekend
2013,
project. You know what I
2013.
mean?
2013. Oh, I did it.
2013. 2012
I
best
totally
of,
just
but
did
it's
it.
2013
I totally
today.
just did it. That hurt.
It's okay.
We'll try it out on
Ouch.
13, 13, 13.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway. Well, no, yeah, you talk about that a lot in the podcast, so I'm always excited about what he's doing. If you've seen this guy's living room, everyone, let me tell you, it is total
Yeah.
nerd stalker.
Yeah.
Totally
I got
nerd
a Mac
stalker.
Mini connected. I'm looking at it right now. Mac Mini connected to my big screen TV.
I
Oh,
think,
perfect.
you know,
Perfect.
I think if I decided to disconnect a wire, he would be in trouble.
That is true. I feel the vacuum cleaner. Believe me, when it goes out, I'm just like, oh God, what's gonna get messed up now? You know?
Oh no, yeah, that's great. Oh, okay, let's go on. Let's go to Google. Let's talk about Google. You love Google for 2012.
Yeah,
huh?
man. Yeah. So this is one of those companies that everyone's been talking about, right? Like all the time. But typically, what you read are the big headlines of Android versus OS, Android versus iOS. You know, and that's really not, or actually Google versus Apple. When really, I love Google applications, period, and I love the Apple hardware. I just got the iPhone 5. I went from an Android device to an iPhone 5, and I just rave about this thing all the time. But I miss my Google apps, so I was happy when they recently released all these updates to like things like Google Drive and Gmail, and Google Maps was recently released, and all kinds of stuff. I love the Google experience on there. They enhance, and what you realize is they are platform independent. Let's face it, they're an outstanding search company, thus an outstanding advertising company, right? Super profitable in that respect. And then you see other things that they're doing with like Google Drive and how they're taking on Dropbox and Evernote to some extent, right? And Microsoft Office now too, aggressively. Their ubiquity isn't quite across the board like a Dropbox and Evernote, but they're getting there. You're starting to see more share options to Google Drive, that kind of stuff, right? And I'm finding my adoption rate, my daily usage of stuff going up. I mean, we're using Google Hangout here. We use Google Docs, here on Stalker and stuff. And other edge case kind of things, like we're seeing like Google Now and Google Glass talks of that. We see other sort of research lab type of things that they've done, applications where they failed, right? Google Wave, remember? And they're not afraid to do this kind of stuff. And this is important for a large enterprise to take this sort of startup mentality and chances and to fail, early and often, as they say. To succeed. And Google Plus, right, is a huge undertaking. Some people only see it as a Facebook play, but it's a lot of other things as well. It's community forums, right? It's a photo album, all kinds of stuff, man. So Google, so much to say about this company. You know what I mean?
Well, I use Google in the enterprise side in our company, or in my former company. God, I actually have to say that.
Whoops.
Oops. But anyway, I love the integration of it into the enterprise. So whenever we set up a Google Calendar meeting, you could go to Google Hangouts, and actually we don't have to use Skype anymore. We could just go to the Hangout, and everyone shows up on the Hangout, and we just have a conference call. It's really cool. I don't know, Sean. Any experience on? Tell me your greatest Google experience.
Yeah, well, Google's been, with the Hangouts this year and the Google Glasses. Those look really interesting. With the technology where you're a wearable camera and smart screen and all that kind of stuff. So that really impressed me this year when I saw them skydiving with the Google Glasses and
into Moscone Center.
Google Hangout in the air, yeah.
I mean, Steve Jobs did a lot of amazing things in his life, and actually, I guess that's definitely notable for 2012 was the passing of Steve Jobs. But the Google presentation when they're parachuting out of a airplane with the Google Glasses on, and that, I was really impressed. And what they've done with Android, the amount of progress they've made in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And can't you email like a 10 megabyte file now or something through iDrive?
Yeah. let's see, iDrive?
Or gigabyte or something, or
Like,
1 gigabyte.
Yeah, well,
something
I know.
impressive.
Well, email they're limited to still 25 megabyte, but still isn't shabby. But
There was a
pretty
story
good.
I caught this year that through iDrive there's some really large files. So that's something to look out for 2013.
That's nice. That's nice. Ooh, cool. Integration. Wow. Okay. Cool. So let's talk about the next one. We got okay. Who put the Yahoo thing on my production sheet?
Yeah, man.
You, Adolfo?
That's right. So Yahoo, my dark horse of the year, they came in just at the last minute, and oddly enough, it was at the expense of Facebook's marketing mistake, right? So we heard about the Instagram fiasco, and Marissa Mayer took over this company as CEO and recently, and really capitalized and did things that management couldn't seem to accomplish for whatever reasons, and spruced up a couple of the most important applications early on in Yahoo's chest, if you will. Flickr being one of them, probably one of the most important ones. I think that has
that's
a
the
lot
most
of growth
important piece.
potential right now.
Right.
Arguably, their UI has been vastly improved. Their sharing options vastly improved. Their mobile and desktop solutions vastly improved from UI, user experience. Very important stuff, right? That was probably the first indicator for me to take a second look at the company. I was about to write them off completely, but I've talked to you like several times about their developers, and I've been to Yahoo several times, and meeting, those incredibly smart developers and researchers there, and they lost a plethora of those people to, Facebook, Google, and Apple recently, and they still seem to have some outstanding talent there, luckily. And you can see by the fruits of their labor here, which I'm sure they could have done a long time ago with Flickr. Now, and fortunately for them, Facebook just and Instagram went through this fiasco here to get a lot of usage happening here. I mean, they have some work to do still on Flickr to make it to the level of Instagram, but it's a hell of an improvement, and nice to have an alternative. Now, the next would be Yahoo Mail, right? Yahoo Mail used to be is I think the most used, if last time I checked, stats wise, email application out there, web-based email, free application out there. Used to have advertising and all this, big mess of a thing. They've cleaned the UI. It looks pretty much like Gmail now, behaves as such. Really well done improvement. They still have some issues with spam and people getting their accounts hacked, which they have to resolve ASAP. But yeah, so kudos to Marissa Mayer and the team at Yahoo. They're definitely worth taking a second look at. We should keep our eye on them to see if this is the beginning of something that can be consistent, or if it's just a fluke.
No, that's great. I'm an AT&T guy, so we use Yahoo Mail, but I use Google Mail as well. But Flickr, I think, is the one shiny object in their chest. So I think they need to do as much as they can with it, and I think they're trying. They're trying, at least. I don't know, Sean. What do you think?
Well, are we going to talk separately about the Instagram fiasco there at the end of the year here?
We
Is that a separate story? Okay.
We will count it in mind.
Sure. So I had a reason randomly to check out Flickr again this year. And
many people did.
Many people did. And I was really impressed. And actually, one of the coolest things about Flickr is their iPhone app is actually great for image editing. And I would say that their filters are as good or better than Instagram's. And you can add text, and there's just more more opportunity.
Yeah,
so
right.
I played around with
right.
that this week or last week, and I was totally impressed.
That's good. Okay, thumbs up for social media Sean on Flickr.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like,
Huzzah.
and he's gonna share.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
That's great. Okay, wow.
We need to bring back huzzahs more often.
Okay, all right. So let's move on. Let's on the best of 2012 show here with Nerd Stalker. We got my picks now. Let's talk about
Greg
pads.
picks.
Let's talk about pads. God. 2012 was the year of the pad, I believe. So let's talk a little bit about that. And let me introduce some of my picks of pads. Picks of pads. If I say that 3 times fast, I can't say that. But anyway, so anyway, I think there was a lot of adoption. There's a lot of the tablet releases were a big thing in 2012, and also I think they're starting to become taken seriously like laptops were in its early days by IT enterprises, right, Adolfo? So
yeah, totally, man, totally. In fact, they seem to be, I don't think they're quite at that point yet of like a must have type of thing, but it's darn close, man.
Oh,
darn
man.
close.
With all the cloud applications going out there, it's definitely usable right now, right? Yeah. So let's talk about some of the tablet releases of 2012. We got the Google Nexus 7, which is the that was kind of cool to have there. Let's see, we got that queued up there. Yeah. So the Nexus 7 is just a CNET says was this the best small tablet, arguably against the iPad Mini, but the price point on the iPad Mini is a little higher, as you can see. So I thought that was not a bad pick for the year there, because a bunch of tablets came out. Well, and its bigger brother, the Nexus 10, I think isn't a bad one to kind of, you should take a look at that one real quick. I think that the Nexus 10 is definitely a tablet you could consider if you're on a budget and you don't want to go the Apple way. You could go with the Nexus 10 pictured there. Really want to, CNET said is one of the most promising iPad alternatives. $399. Okay, maybe. To check that one out. Yeah. And also, let's go down the list here. We got the iPad 3. Gosh, the iPad 3. They had 2 releases of iPad this year, right? So I think that's I think that was something interesting, and you throw in the mini release. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Apple Pad offerings this year? Kind of quick with a couple of them, don't you think?
Yeah. Actually, so it almost got by everybody that there was both a 3rd generation and 4th generation iPad. 4th,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
So when I've talked to people about it that aren't necessarily totally in the geeky world, they're like, what? Like, they have no idea, because it doesn't look any different. As we know, they just, one of the best things that I saw about that was that everyone wanted a faster iPad, but they also wanted a better screen. So what they did was they put the Retina display in, but they forgot to upgrade the processor enough. And so nobody got what they wanted. And then so on the 4th generation, they fixed that. They got the screen and the processor and a few other things here and there. But literally it looks the exact same as an iPad 3. But it performs like an iPad 2, because the iPad 3 was actually benchmarking lower than the iPad, or the iPad 3 was benchmarking lower than the iPad 2.
Wow, really?
With the Retina display.
Yeah. So I think that they made a little switch up, and I think consumers weren't too upset. I mean, if I just bought an iPad 3, I'd be pretty choked, but oh well.
Yeah. I bought an iPad 3 for my mom.
Mom has it.
Luckily, my mom can't tell the difference. And she doesn't do benchmark tests, so that's
right.
But she loves it. That's the thing. I think this is a big story, though, is that my mom, who, I've given her desktops, and they would gather dust, right? We would never do this type of, like video type of calling with each other or anything. Now that she has this iPad, she doesn't know what version it is, but we're doing FaceTime all the time with each other.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
And that's like I think the consumer test is a huge thing now. Talking about the iPad Mini, I was a little bit hesitant at first because you're not getting the Retina display, right?
Right.
And so I told some friends, oh yeah, you should buy the Mini, so I could play around with it and look at it without buying it at a time, and revel in how horrible the screen looked. But I was really impressed with the screen. It was shocking. I thought it was going to be difficult to read after going from Retina to that, and it's just as good, I think. I don't think for me it's a great. It looks like a great option. I think everyone was hesitant at first, and then once they started playing with this thing and they got it, people were really happy with it.
I got to agree, Adolfo. Yeah, I love it. I played with one the other day, and for an extended period, and then I picked up the new iPad 4 or fourth generation, excuse me, whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
And it felt so heavy, like it did. It was
totally.
Yeah. And the screen, it was amazing on the Retina, but the smaller screen means more pixels per inch, and I'd love to pick up the next generation. I can't wait for the Retina iPad Mini.
Yeah, and that's what everyone's waiting for too, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, I think early this quarter maybe. Yeah, they said so.
I'm really concerned about the battery though. That Retina, it's not easy on that battery and that CPU. So
good point.
I'm wondering how they're going to deal with that.
Solar panels on the back
totally.
of the
Wearable helmets.
Airless recharging.
Emma still,
I know. I was going to ask her.
But I mean,
Is
wireless
Emma,
recharge.
what do you think, Emma? What's your thoughts on the whole iPad Mini?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of Apple, right? It's actually very strategic. I think it's awesome that Apple will sometimes I think it's deliberate, right? So sometimes they'll let you have something that's not so awesome, but right on the line they'll have something already there, right? So I think Apple is ingenious in terms of holding back in terms of hardware. And I think that given that Jobs passed away, they needed something frantic. And that's why they released all this cool stuff, right? One after another, and it's
Okay, well we lost our correspondent from Nob Hill here, San Francisco, but
hey, I'm wondering what you guys think of this. It looks like Apple's doing this, and Emma, I think, kind of touched on some of this. Apple seems to be doing these quick iterations on their hardware. There used to be a longer cycle. And I'm already hearing about an iPhone 5 or iPhone whatever, revved up iPhone in March.
Well, so we're going to March, October releases with Apple, you think?
We'll see, man. They seem to be revving very quickly.
We saw mini. So there was actually 3 major releases last year, weren't there? I mean, not of all hardware, but like we had March, and then we had something in June or May, late May. And then we went all the way to like August, September, October, that type of time frame, right? September probably.
Yeah. I mean, I dig it. I mean, I like seeing this. I think with phones, it's an issue because of these 2-year commitments that you have, at least here in the U.S. with like Verizon, AT&T. Do you have to deal with that kind of stuff?
Sure,
Sean?
2 to 3 year. And the thing about here in Canada is that we pay about double for our cellular usage that you do in the U.S.
What?
Yeah, probably another third, at least another half. So I mean, you're hard pressed to get anything for much less than $100 a month with data.
Oh my god!
Whereas in the States, can't you get something pretty good for about 50, 60?
Well, in India, they have for less than 100.
Oh, let's not go there, Greg. Come on.
I mean, with taxes
fair.
and data,
South Korea, hello?
You might be able to get down to 80 or 90, but that's just for an iPhone or an Android, basic plan. So yeah, our we feel it even more here in the north.
In the north.
Right, and then if you're buying phones outright, are you still getting full cost? You still have to pay full cost of the phone if you want to switch phones with your existing plan or something like that?
Exactly.
So you're looking, like here, we're looking at $700 iPhones or something like that.
Yeah, very similar, yeah.
Wow, dude. Okay. Well, let's move on. Let's go to some of my other picks. Samsung. You can't count them out.
Yeah, dude.
They're the biggest consumer electronics company in the world now, and so the Galaxy Tab is one of my picks that you should probably look at and try to figure out how to get your hands on one of those babies as an alternative, low-cost alternative. So the Tab, we'll get that queued up in a second here, but the Tab is I don't know. I don't know, Adolfo. What do you think about the Samsung's hardware? They seem to be playing in all playgrounds. Windows.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah,
you know.
totally. I mean, and they just released the big story yesterday or whatever, which was a very quiet story, but it's huge news. And I've been mentioning this before. They've been playing around with this operating system called Tizen.
Oh,
right?
yes, Tizen.
And so they've been having issues with Google, about Android, and Google saying, you guys are really our only distributor, right? They're the number one by far Android distributor device out there, device manufacturer, and Samsung just, they want to do their own thing, and if Google's going to be making their own devices via Motorola or whatever the acquisition, then what's to say that Motorola doesn't get whatever better access or something to Android or Google, obviously, since it's the same company. So they are hedging, and it makes perfect sense. If they want 100%, Samsung wants 100% of the profits, why not create your own operating system?
What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the tablet wars have just begun, and there's this year was a fierce battle, a lot of production, a lot of court time, a lot of lawyer fees, and
That's right.
I think that at the end of it, it's just the new big business is technology is the big business now, and it was we'll see. I've been impressed and I've been disappointed in both Apple and Google, and we'll see what happens in the new year.
Yeah, and poor Dell, they had to bow out of the race.
Yeah.
Sorry, I won't go there. We'll put a stick in it for. Well, let's go to
Mr. Dell was too busy trying to keep his teenage kids off Instagram, sharing their location this year. So
that's a good one.
That's where he was busy raising his daughters. I think he forgot about the tablets.
My God. Well, let's talk about the controversial tablet of the year, the Surface RT Windows tablet. So, oh my God, you guys got me all excited when Adolfo and Sean told me about, Adolfo went to the developers conference and told me all about the fancy Windows 8 platform and how it was going to work.
Right.
So I was all excited to see the tablet, and then suddenly, oh shoot, it's RT.
Yeah.
It's not Windows 8, and guess what?
Yeah.
You don't have any applications.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Overwhelmed in one sense that Microsoft is kind of trying to, make a play for a lot of things. They're trying to be more visible in the developer community, but a total downer on, oh man, So what do you guys think? Did they just have to introduce something this year, and that's why they had to play it that way, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yeah, I think there wasn't a choice really for them. You could tell that this really, it's not ready. It's just not ready. Which is unfortunate too, because I mean, what a massive advertising blitz that they released for the Surface itself. I mean, Windows 8 is a different sort of animal. That's a different discussion. But the Surface, in terms of hardware, I don't know, man.
We see them all the time at SF Newtek now. Demoing some of their little wares there, but and it looks really good. But if you don't have any apps that runs on it, and right, Google decided to put another nail in their coffin by saying, we're not going to develop any apps for you guys. How about that, Microsoft? So I thought that was kind of interesting when they said nope, not developing any Windows 8, nothing. Google says so. So what do you think, Sean? What do you think about the Windows thing? We talked about this on the Social Time show.
It's expensive. The RT. I mean, what is an RT? Who does their marketing?
Yeah, I know, man.
What is an RT? A retweet?
Terrible.
That's what I was thinking.
Microsoft retweet.
I know.
If anything in the last year or two, RT means to me is retweet. So whoever's doing, I just don't even know what happened there. I can't even comment on that.
Yeah, it was it was a developer term. I can't believe they rolled out with that WinRT. I could not believe it.
Right? What are you thinking? Like,
we spent $1 million on our marketing, but we decided to go cheap on the name.
Yeah, release Plumber Talk, right? Yeah, Plumbing Talk. Yeah.
Hey Emma, you online there? What do you think about Windows 8 and an RT and all that stuff?
Looks like we lost her, maybe.
Okay, our correspondent from Nob Hill is now offline, but
There is some internet cyber war going on.
Hope to get her back. Well, let's go on. I think I have a couple ones from the book companies. The Kindle updated their Fire this year, and Barnes and Noble came out with the HD. So I think those are two things of note to try and talk about that just kind of complicated things, but with their content, they're not bad choices to have as a tablet, right? What do you think, guys?
Adolfo, what do you think?
Well, the Kindle Fire is, or I don't know, man. I know. I don't know.
Underwhelming?
Yeah, I would have to say.
Yeah,
there were such hopes, right? Everyone was talking about it initially, and all being a great Christmas gift, and this and that, and then the iPad Mini rolled out, and then all these the Nexus rolled out or whatever, the nice Android version of the tablet we were just talking about, and then oddly enough, people just wanted a Paperwhite. Right, the Amazon,
the new version,
a new reader,
the better
I'll
version.
decide to use this as a paperweight.
Yeah.
That is great, Adolfo. Adolfo calls the Fire a paperweight. That's nice.
I was surprised with their progress. I'll give them that. I didn't think it would even be that good, but I wouldn't even remotely thinking about it as a tablet at this point. You want a beefed up e-reader. Great, but why not just get an e-reader then, right?
Well, let's look at this table. Weight in pounds. You got Barnes & Noble Nook HD Plus, 1.13 pounds. And then we got the Apple iPad, 4th Gen, 1.44. You got Amazon Kindle at 1.25. And the Google Nexus 10, which we talked about earlier, 1.32. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. But, pound for pound in terms of display, you got the Google Nexus 10 at 1.3 pounds, but you have a 10-inch display on that baby, so that's kind of neat. There's definitely it's a crowded field out there, guys. So let's talk about let's go on to the next topic. Let's talk about Instagram. We're talking about photo apps earlier with Flickr, and let's talk a little bit about. We'll have Sean introduce that little debacle they went through a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
Facebook bought Instagram
That's right.
in April. Believe it or not, it was only April last year.
Wow.
So I just got a message from him about something. They finally closed it out in October. But man, what do you guys see there? Is Instagram going to be its own little separate thing, or is it going to be Facebooked a little bit? What do you see them doing with Instagram, Adolfo?
It looks like the community was already wary of the acquisition. They sure as hell didn't want it to be just absorbed completely and become Facebook photos. And then this marketing debacle occurs, and I imagine that the confidence of the community, despite these media attempts to save the negative publicity at this time, is probably very, very cautious of what Facebook's going to do with Instagram, and probably makes everyone second guess how much they're going to share there, or hedge, or share in multiple locations possibly.
Hey, Sean, let's talk about that debacle. Let me go into that. You were excited about talking about that. Well, introduce it to the audience what that debacle was.
Yeah, right. So, very simply, Instagram puts out a message that says, we've updated our terms of service. And by the way, we're using language. I'm not a lawyer, so we're using language that makes it totally clear that we have the rights to sell your images or basically do anything we want with them within the scope of the internet. That is how most users understood it. Now, how they actually meant it, that's still another discussion. So, everybody freaked out. I think people love to vent more than they love to leave services. Oh, I'm going to leave. But I don't really think it hurt them that bad. But the amazing thing is that a company with all this money, Facebook, Instagram, would put out this message. So what I want to know is, did the marketing company really screw up that bad? Or did Facebook try to pull one over on their users and realized and backed out and said, nope, they're not ready? It is all public data. If we want to get into the fine print, this is where I'm getting started. It's all public domain, really. And at the end of the day, you don't have a leg to stand on. You're using these free services. You're giving them all your life data, which who knows what they're going to be able to do with.
Sure.
And it's already happening. So all that basically they said is, oh, by the way, we want you to be a little bit more aware that this is what's going on. And as soon as they told them, everybody freaked out. So whether I'm skeptical whether it was just a marketing mistake or they actually were trying to shift forwards in their ownership of our data. And to me, that is just beyond mind-boggling, because this is the new social era we live in, where our lives will be, I think, stolen, and identity theft is going to go to a whole new level.
Identity theft to a whole new level. I love it.
Seriously, with your pictures and your images and your emotions and everything, these guys are going to own us, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
So we have to just take a step back and go, everything we do, including this podcast right now, is public domain, and computers and big data and the cloud is sucking it all in, and who knows what they're going to do with it.
Right.
I'm done. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So let's just say one thing. Thank God Getty Images didn't buy Instagram. Okay. I just wanted to say that one thing. But anyway. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what went through their heads, but man, it made you guys go to different services, right? So did that really turn you guys to go to Flickr, Adolfo?
I did uninstall Instagram after hearing the clarification of the terms and that kind of stuff. I sort of I see a lot of my friends still using it, right? But like I said earlier, it made me look at Flickr, and Flickr is a very viable alternative. Not 100% there yet, but definitely looking very good. But what made me question it more is, like, I don't know if this is a story so much about Instagram as it is, as Sean sort of alluded to in a way, is a story about Facebook. And granted that Facebook bought Instagram, and we don't know where was it a marketing issue or was it Facebook strategy? Because you remember the brouhaha way back when of Facebook Beacon. Remember? It's like if you buy something and then suddenly all your friends see what you're shopping, and maybe your boss sees that you bought a flask or something of alcohol. Right. Oh, wow, look at you drink it, Oh, that's what he does with his free time.
Right.
It became a big brouhaha, and then Facebook backed off. But this was a very valuable thing to do, and we see this sort of pattern with Facebook, and I think people are being conditioned to, unfortunately, have this sort of distrust gradually of Facebook more and more, which is not, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for Facebook, but their strategy seems to be sort of like do something, ask for forgiveness later type of pattern over and over again, and I don't know if it's going to cost them or not.
Right, and they're able to do that, Adolfo. That's the point, is that they're so big that they can do it and then ask for forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
So
they are the number one by a landslide.
So I'm almost thinking that that's what they were trying to do with that Instagram thing. They were trying to edge the dial, and they've got a little bit back. Because to really understand that language, you got to go right into it. You'd have to interpret it. It could be a court of law. People could debate that, how it was meant, what was supposed to be done, but these guys own everything we're putting on there for the most part, and I think we got to just take that with a grain of salt for 2013.
How do you justify an $8 billion acquisition to your shareholders, right?
Right.
I mean, without monetizing somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they just tried to nudge it a little bit more, and nope, not quite ready. We're not quite ready to know that they really own all the data.
Yeah, we need to make money somehow on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, let's give them a boo. All right.
That was a bad call. That was a bad call.
Yeah, that was definitely a bad call. So let's move on here. Let's go on to SOPA and PIPA.
Perfect.
We might as well talk about. We'll get the negative stuff out of the show already. But anyway, SOPA, right? The Stop Online Piracy Act and the Protect IP Act of 2012, which got soundly defeated. Thank you very much, everyone. But they were really looking ways of helping the media companies fight piracy, right? That was the intention. And just like any other law in this country, the intentions just went awry, right? So, and I think the biggest thing, and Adolfo's pretty good about this, is the ISP blocking provision, right? that they were really hotly debating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they could unplug anybody essentially, right? But I don't know. I mean, are there going to be for 2013 a SOPA 2 and a PIPA 2?
Yeah, in fact, I think we're already seeing a bunch of them in action. There's a lot of what I'm hearing is behind the door sort of meetings, closed to the public type of stuff that's happening. Not good. Some countries are threatening to, silo off their internet kind of things. And, the internet is a very fragile sort of, for lack of a better term, a series of tubes and pipes, right?
Yes.
Right.
So it relies on a lot of these relays, right, and all these servers everywhere around the country to it function correctly. And when someone starts fiddling with this, that's not good. And then when someone wants to use it to break into your home and fine you or arrest you for something for questionable usage, that may not be good also.
Hey, Sean, in Canada, did they have equivalent laws that were enacting in parallel with our SOPA PIPA stuff down here?
Yeah, right. So we love our American neighbors so much that we just love to copy them. And there was a lot of things going on. I mean, the thing is that in the World Wide Web, it's really not localized as much anymore. So we were feeling that kind of here in Canada, for me anyways, because most of the business and people I know, like your fine feathered selves, are American, right? And so there was actually some things going on here, but this definitely always gets the most press, right? And so all I can say is that thank goodness that these crazy politicians don't get to control technology, and hopefully somebody smart enough can get in there and help them realize that it's way bigger than their thinking of the past. They have to open their minds and see it for what it is. So hopefully this year or soon, some politicians that actually understand the internet will get involved and do the right thing. I'm all about regulation is fine, but proper regulation, not based on politics.
Well, non-tech people trying to regulate a tech thing. Wow.
And kudos to whatever celebrity brought up SOPA and PIPA, because Lord knows, the general public would not have gave a damn had someone like it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because this stuff puts you to sleep. Believe me, Greg puts me to sleep like talking about this.
Yeah, I decided to bring the best of 2012 at SOPA and PIPA.
But it's important stuff, man.
It's important stuff, and
but it's
I'll
like
do
taking
whatever.
your vitamins,
That's
It's
right.
like, ugh. Okay.
That's right. Hey, if they're stopping the water in the pipes, as Adolfo said, we're going to have a problem with that. So we don't want clogged pipes. So anyway.
Hey, and just to let everyone know, Emma Lamb dropped off of this podcast, but we'll make sure to get her next time.
No, she's good. She's good. She has a lot of good opinions. I talked to her offline, and she's pretty sharp about a lot of stuff.
Very smart woman.
Yeah, very smart. Okay, let's go to the last one. I think you guys are going to cheer for this one. Let's get the applause meter on it. Let's talk about Google Maps. I think we were going to follow up with. I wanted to focus on Google Maps because obviously. They were the story of 2012. The iPhone 5 got released with iOS 6, and guess what? It didn't work. So and when the CEO of Apple says you should use another third-party alternative, and we're so sorry, in stepped Google Maps. So I think Google Maps is just one of those things that I think has been around such a long time and it has a long history. How can you not like Google Maps? It's on my Android phone. I use it with the navigation. It gets me everywhere I need to go, and it finds everything that I need to find. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about Google Maps?
Well, I think a huge story was that how dependent they were on iOS users as well, and Apple users, right? I think that was a huge story.
Yes.
It was not only when Apple started creating their own, initial excuses for a map application, there was a massive drop-off in Google Map usage, and that is juicy data that makes them lots of advertising money that they want. So that I don't think it was particularly good for either company. Or Apple, I think more from a PR perspective, But I think it was of the utmost importance for Google to have Google Maps not only on iOS, but every freaking where they can. That's
Absolutely.
their game.
Yeah, totally.
So total codependency, huh, Adolfo? Total codependency.
At this point, I think in this stage of the game.
I mean,
So do you think? Well, let me ask a question of Adolfo. Do you think Apple will try to come back with their own Maps version and fix it?
Oh yeah, I think they're gonna continue try to iterating, but they're so far behind at this point. You know, so far behind. I think they're a distant number 2, maybe.
Ooh. Go ahead. Sorry,
not
Sean,
at all,
I cut
of
you
course.
off earlier.
I just, again, I'm amazed that with the caliber of people that are involved in these projects, that they would release something like this. I mean, it wouldn't take a lot of research, a few hours to check a few cities to realize there was, it's not, we're not talking micro, we were talking big mistakes. And so that escapes me. So then, again, I want to know, are they covering up? Are they blaming someone, or did they actually do it on purpose? Did they know?
Well, they fired their whole team, basically. I think that's
right.
You know, they were the scapegoats.
Right. So did they not know that? Did they not even take an hour? Because if you'd gone through San Francisco, you would have seen that it wasn't a comparison. Because I did when I first got it, and I did Google and Apple, and there was no comparison. That being said, people say that Apple won, and this goes back to Adolfo's point. Did they really? Because now Google Maps had updated their app when they put it back on iOS, so it was even better, more like the one on Android.
Right.
But again,
Lovely, for sure.
all that, back to what Adolfo said, is that I don't think anyone really won in that. I think that it just gave them a bad reputation for releasing products that aren't ready, and I think we're all tired of that as users.
Well, and that was the first one in a long while for Apple, right? And I think we all kind of were expecting the world, our level, because we're paying Apple prices, is here, and it should be here, right? And we just decided, wow, and I wondered if, you're right. I cannot believe that someone didn't check out the maps, but I got a feeling, the train had left the station and they better be on it. Basically Tim was going to get on that stage and introduce that damn map regardless if it was working or not.
Well, there was talk too that I think their licensing deal with Apple with Google actually was up at a certain point, so they'd have to redo some sort of deal, and I think Apple this is one of the theories was that we have to take this short-term pain in order for this long-term gain type of thing. Didn't quite pan out, I think.
I think you nailed it right there, Adolfo. That's it. Is that they had an agreement and they were trying to manipulate and persuade and outweigh each other, and nobody won, I think, at the end of the day from all that.
No.
Yeah. I mean, these aren't dumb people. Apple, obviously they're super smart people. I mean, we all see that, the Google car videos and driving them, all over the earth. We see people with backpacks in the freaking Amazon mapping, with those Google mapping devices. And what does Apple have? An acquisition or some licensing of TomTom or whatever. Come on, there's Google's had an army of people out there doing this kind of thing. I don't think Apple's dumb enough to miss that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I just can't believe it either. That it isn't it's unlike Apple, right? So you're right. The short-term pain and long-term gain. Hopefully, well, we'll see. I mean, I think, we'll be looking at the next iOS Maps release with a fine-tooth comb, man. I mean, a fine-tooth comb. So they have a big bar to leap over at this point. So anyway. Well, that's the show, guys. I mean, any you guys have anything for 2013 you want to let everyone in on, or you want to let someone know about?
Well, I'll put it out there that we are covering Macworld, you guys.
Awesome.
For Nerd Stalker, we'll be covering the whole deal and talking about it, and so look out for that. That's at the Moscone. I don't have the date handy right now, Greg, but
no, we're looking at the end of January.
Yeah.
30th, 31st, and 1st, I believe. So yeah, I'm excited about going there with you. I'm going to bring my portable recording gear, and we'll record everybody, man.
Yeah, so check it out, everyone. Macworld iWorld, register for the event. We will be there all over the place, in-depth coverage.
Yes.
Awesome.
And,
What are the dates on that? What are the dates?
30th, 31st, and 1st, I believe.
Of
Or
January.
31st, 1st, and 2nd, I believe. Well, it's towards the end there. I believe it's 31st, 1st, and 2nd. So we'll have to check that one exactly there. But hey, Sean, what do you have planned for 2013? I think Social Time TV.
Social Time TV, baby, and I have really spent a lot of time in the last year or two listening more than talking, and I think 2013 is about trying to make sense of all this and putting social media into a business perspective, not just fun and games, but how to really leverage it. I was fortunate enough to have an offline business background, and the principles are still the same. So I'm really now, for 2013, ready to put it together because, like all of us, none of us had any social media experience. How can you say you've had social media experience before 4 or 5, 6 years ago? It didn't. It wasn't there. So 2013 for me is now all about putting social media with social business and hopefully helping a few fine folks.
Well, I think you will, man. You're a good guy. You know how to do social media and apply it to business. So I think things will be good for you in 2013, my friends. So.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's see. Well, we have a lot of things going on. So I have the 2 podcasts with you guys. And for 2013, we're going to continue that on. We'll probably try to get a little more content. I'm doing a lot of books with McGraw-Hill and some of that stuff. So there's a new book.
What's your next one, Greg? What's the next book?
This one here. Stuck. Basically, the 5 business secrets of Facebook's improbable brilliant CEO, Mark Zuckerberg. So that'll be releasing, I believe, in February or late January, around Macworld, believe it or not. So we'll have an interview with the Katarina Walter. I have my thumb on there right now, but she I have my thumb on Katarina, but well, okay. I can't focus anymore, Sean. Sorry.
It's okay, no problem. You're doing great, buddy.
Okay, but we'll interview her probably in San Francisco here. She's going to San Francisco for Macworld, so we'll get a live interview with her. We'll put her on Google Plus and talk about her book. So it'll be fun.
Love it.
Cool.
Very cool.
I need to mention also, I forgot our partnership with O'Reilly. I'll be reviewing Dave Gray's book. The name escapes me. The Connected Company is the name of the book right now.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So there's and we'll be announcing some other books and things also.
Wow. Reading is good. Reading is good. Sean does a lot more reading than I do. So
reading is fundamental, my friend.
You got it.
I need to catch up. Anyway, a great show, guys. I appreciate it.
Signing off. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Adolfo.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Greg.
How can you get a hold of you? Let's sign off correctly there, Sean. How can listeners get a hold of you there?
Easiest way is at Social Media Sean on Twitter. Anything from there, or go to my website, socialmediasean.com, and you will find me for certain.
And you, my friend.
Yes, so you can find me at on Twitter at NerdStalker. It should be, I think, down here somewhere. Yeah, in a blurry, unfocused camera here. And yeah, you can check out our content all over the place. NerdStalker.com and our podcast. Check us out at iTunes. Also, you can download the audio and video podcast and give us a 5-star rating, please. And yeah, that'd be wonderful. How about you, Greg and Emma?
Hey.
Please.
I'll do Emma. You can catch her at Emma at nerdstalker.com, and she's on Facebook, and I'm sure she'll be happy to friend you if.
I believe she's at Emma Lamb too.
Yeah.
EMMALAM.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
At Emma Lamb.
I'm SocialGreg on Twitter, aka SocialGreg on Twitter, and you catch me at SocialGreg at nerdstalker.com, and excited to do the next year of podcasts with both of you. So I am truly pumped for that.
It is an honor, my friends.
It is an honor.
Yes. Oh, wait. So anyway, be careful out there, and see you in a clean 2013. Anyway, Emma, take care.
Thanks. See you guys.
Okay.
And